What's going on, folks? It is Ian from the Apostles of Anime, and today I want to talk about a show that I slept on hard, and I'm so glad that I decided to stick it out till the end because damn was it a treat. And that show is Castlevania, the Netflix adaptation of it. It has had a total of 4 seasons. Fourth season really just came out. I just finished watching it, and I really want to talk about it today. Now, I am not going to be talking about any other of the million video games and or lore that accompanies this story because there is a buttload of it. The story is generational, so kind of like JoJo, there are many main characters that go down the line for hundreds of years and they're fighting this battle, the whole nine, and they've made a lot of games going over it. I'm not too knowledgeable on all of that. I've watched one timeline video on YouTube like a year ago because I was curious, and I forgot virtually half of it anyway, so that's really not my expertise. If you want that, definitely go check that out though, because I'm sure the story is a wild and amazing ride. And if they make more of this show, I'm sure that they will, well, I hope that they will cover some of that sweet stuff that they just really haven't even scratched the surface of yet. But anyway, 4 seasons, Netflix adaptation, that's what we're sticking to today, by executive producer Adi Shankar. Thank you so much for making this show, because it was fantastic. For those of you who don't know, this is a fantasy show that follows 3 protagonists, Trevor Belmont, Sypha, and Alucard, Dracula backwards, for anybody who didn't put that together. Spoiler alert, Dracula is Alucard's father, but that's pretty common knowledge, so it's not really a spoiler. And what are these 3 protagonists doing? Well, they're trying to stop Dracula. Why? Because Dracula has gone batshit crazy, no pun intended, because his wife, his human wife, was murdered by a bunch of priests because they didn't understand what the hell science was all about, and they didn't like it, so they killed her. Totally logical, right? So Dracula freaks the hell out, and he just basically says, to the hell with everyone that is human, the human race just sucks. I'm just wipe out everyone on planet Earth. Obviously, we can't have that because Trevor and Sypha at least are fully human, and Alucard's half human, and they kind of got some stake in this fight, so they're out to stop him. Now, Trevor Belmont is from the Belmont clan, the Belmont family, and the Belmonts have basically hunted monsters throughout their entire bloodline, virtually. At least that's how the story goes. They have extensive knowledge on everything that has to do with monsters and how to kill them, how to fight them, all that kind of great stuff. They have libraries dedicated to it. They have plenty of weapons, and essentially every single Belmont is a total badass. Now, Trevor Belmont is the last Belmont in existence at this time in the story, so obviously that puts a lot of pressure on him in certain ways, at least internalized pressure. There's not many other people that are pressuring him to be like, hey, come save us, but he knows where he comes from, and at the beginning of the show, he's pretty down and out, right? Just like drinking booze all the time. He doesn't really have a sense of direction. But lo and behold, this crisis kind of kicks Trevor into action here with his 2 companions and basically gives him a reason for living and a reason for fighting. And it's pretty cool to see. I am not going to lie, I totally, like I said, slept on this show at first, right? So the first season is only 4 episodes. They're pretty great too, and it just lays the groundwork for everything that's to come, right? Seasons 2 through 4 really kind of ramp it up in a sense. But season 2, actually, that was kind of a lie, because it doesn't ramp it up, it actually slows it down. And that was kind of a shock to me, right? If you watch the show, you're going to realize that the first season hits pretty hard in terms of action, hype. You think you have a good idea of where this show is going. And then season 2 comes along. And what you realize is that this show significantly slows down. It almost turns into a drama. And the reason I want to slow down on that word drama is because that was the biggest mistake I made watching the show. So I watch the 2nd season, and I say to myself, well, damn, Ian, that didn't live up to expectations. That was not very hype at all. It was incredibly slow. There were a couple great moments, obviously, at the end in terms of fighting and all that kind of stuff. The story's cool, but it's just playing out so damn slow. It's like a tortoise here, like watching molasses or paint dry, right? And season 3 was not all that different. There were a couple moments yet again. So season 2 ends, and I'm like, man, I don't know if I could continue this. This is really just not what I signed up for here. I don't know if I could go through another couple seasons of this. Season 3 comes along. I'm very reluctant to watch it. One of my friends says, yo, you should watch it. It's really good. I start watching it, and I go, damn, this is kind of following the same trend as season 2. But then something kind of crazy happened, right? I'm thinking this in my mind, but here I am clicking next episode the second it displays the option to do so on Netflix. And next episode, and next episode, and next episode. And before I know it, I'm more than halfway through the show, a couple hours deep, and I tell myself, I go, there's something about this show, I really like it. But it's kind of the same thing that happened in the second season. It's very slow, right? And so I basically watched the whole season in one shot. Whole thing. Each season, past season 1, is 10 episodes. Watched all 10 episodes in one clip. And I realized something at the end. I said, shit, I've been looking at this show the wrong way this whole time, or at least up until this point halfway through. I was looking at this show and wanted and expected, and that was my mistake here, I expected it to be something different than it was. And what it is a drama at its heart, right? At least that's the way I interpret it, right? You might not interpret it that way, but that's what I'm going to call it. My point is that it takes a lot of time for character development, and it's not some giant battle scene every single episode, at least in season 2 and 3, and it takes a lot of time to flesh out its characters and its narrative, etc., almost to the point where it's too slow for some people, but it does a really, really good job at that, and it keeps on dragging you in. You say, hey, what's going to happen next? What's going to happen to this character? Why does this character have this motivation? Etc., right? The whole nine. And once I realized that the show is a drama, and I appreciated the show for what it's trying to do instead of trying to fit it in a box or trying to appreciate it for something that it's not just because I wanted it to be, my viewing experience was enhanced like fivefold. And from there on, now season 4 has come out, and they do a great job at mixing action and drama anyway, because the show has come to its conclusion, and season 4 was just the freaking cherry on top. This show absolutely slaps, and looking back on it now, I highly recommend that anyone out there that's looking for something new definitely watches this show. The animation is absolutely fire. It's an English-speaking show that you actually don't have to feel ashamed for watching in English because that's its native language, right? Because it's not technically an anime. We don't need any subtitles here. But no, the voice acting is absolutely great. Like I said, the art's fantastic. The fights, when they do happen, are freaking incredible. They're up there with some of the great anime fights, the great, comic book fights and all this stuff that's been animated. 100%. I would put money down on that one. And yeah, like I said, the story's great. But the thing is the characters, right? That's really the big selling point for me. Like I said, this is a very drama style where all of the characters really get highlighted in what their motivations are, why they're doing it, etc. And there's a huge amount of growth from all of them as well. You'll meet a character in season 2 without spoiling anything. His name is Isaac, and that's a character, for instance, that I was really cold towards in the beginning, but then throughout the course of the show, his character grows, in my opinion, exponentially, and he wound up being one of my favorite ones in the series. And that, to me, is what really tells you that a show is good, or at least the characters are good, that you could go from absolutely disdaining a character in the beginning, and by the end of their arc, you absolutely love them. That was just, to me, a total testament to how good the show was, right? But it's fantastic, and that's, like I said, the big takeaway here is you have to look at the show for what it's offering and what it is, and that is a drama. It's slow, it's methodical, but when it hits, it really hits. You can't expect it to hit every single episode, otherwise you're going to be a little bit disappointed. But like I said, when it hits, it absolutely hits. Now, I have to say, too, I'm not going to go into what the ending was. Obviously, this is a spoiler-free review here. But I did not know that this was the last season, right? So I'm going into this thinking that this is going to continue because I'm like, well, I know this story is generational. So if anything, even if the story of Trevor Belmont and gang ends here, I know I'll have some extra seasons with his descendants or whatever, right? But that's not the case, actually. They wrap up the show pretty nicely. And all things considered, I was like, okay, everything's coming together now. I didn't find myself questioning too much. There weren't really any plot holes that I could think of. The ending was very well explained. And here I am thinking it's going to keep on going. And then I realized, I say, hey, this is not even continuing. So knowing that, right, within only 4 seasons and 34 episodes, they were able to wrap up this entire story here. And it didn't feel rushed at all, which might sound surprising because of how much time they take to flesh out some of these characters within the mid-seasons here. You'd think that there's no way they're going to fill out all these plot points, right? Not going to fill the gaps, but they really do. And that's something that I greatly appreciate about the show, especially given the time that they had for it. Yeah, like I said, I mean, unfortunately, we're not getting more Castlevania as of right now. I've been looking up some articles, and it seems to be that Netflix has not said they are going to do anything Season 5 related that continues along the story. There has been talks about spin-offs because of how popular it is, but I guess Netflix just attracts more subscribers by outputting more shorter shows than, keeping on with a lot of their popular ones. I don't know. They're in the business of making money, so it is what it is at the end of the day. But some spin-offs would be really sweet. There are some story arcs that could definitely continue if they wanted to use characters within this season or these seasons. They could use completely different characters, though, or it could just be, it's within the universe of Castlevania. One thing I do know, though, and this is what I'm really freaking excited about, is that Adi Shankar has got the rights to Devil May Cry. And for those of you who don't know that series, just look it up. But it is a favorite of mine. I've been rocking the Devil May Cry game since I was a kid, and that is one that I have pretty good knowledge on, at least I think so. So it would be really sweet to see this animated. One can only hope. We'll see what happens. But anyway, that's my review of Castlevania. Definitely a fantastic show. I would say if you're looking for something that's dark, that's gritty, that's real, with fantastic animation and fights, but fantastic character development all the same, this is a show you definitely want to check out. But anyway, that's all I got for you guys today. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for listening. But until next time, I will catch you all on the flip. Peace.